Hey everyone, welcome to another YouTube painting process video. This time around I'll be showing you my time lapse of Black Cat from Marvel Rivals, and as usual I'll be going over a topic of discussion regarding art. For today I'll be talking about speed matters, but it's not what you think it is. And when I mean speed is how much time you spend on each piece of artwork that you create. Now, previously, I mentioned that speed matters because professionals have to adhere to deadlines, and quite likely because you're probably doing stuff for the pipeline of a project, others are waiting for your work, so you should be speedy regarding that. Now, that's one main reason, but I'm going to ignore the industry professional side of things for a little bit and focus entirely on the technical and the artistic side of things. So, why does speed matter in that case? After all, the impression that a lot of people have is you want to spend as much time as you need for a piece of artwork. It's certainly what I was taught when I was going through art school and otherwise. Now, to preface, I want to reiterate from my other videos that you don't want to focus on being fast. One of the things as I was growing up was that the idea of speed painting was such a big deal in the concept art and illustration scene, where people were doing these 1 hour epic rock environment speed paintings and it'll go viral on whatever. Naturally, as you're getting more experience and you're getting familiar with how you do your work, you'll just naturally get faster as you do things. So, what is the major benefit to being faster in arts? There is an aesthetic benefit to it. And the best way to explain it is with the idea of sketches. So one concern that a lot of people have is that their sketches just generally look better than their final pieces. Now there's a very key reason why. When you are drawing fast for sketches, you feel there's no pressure and you're just being very loose with all your work. And when you're loose, when you're flowing, you create this aesthetic, this energy that you otherwise lose if you're focusing too hard to make this rendered masterpiece, a la with final illustrations and artwork. This is primarily the one main reason why sketches can look better than final artwork if you're not careful. Especially for beginners, when you have no pressure, when you're just looking to get things down, you ironically create better, more aesthetically pleasing artwork. You're being loose and you're just having fun when you're sketching. And when you're tightening your work too much, you end up over-rendering everything. This is where speed and timing comes in. You're going to find that, especially for more impressionistic paintbrushy styles like I do, you're going to have diminishing returns on just how much time you spend on each artwork. Yes, there will be focus points on where you're going to have to focus more time on certain aspects of your artwork, depending on what it is, especially when there are certain very difficult parts to draw. Hands, for instance, are going to be a bit of a problem, especially if you're doing very elaborate hands. But you get my point. When you are being fast and loose, even in your painting style, you want to retain that energy, and you don't want to lose what makes your sketches work. There are a lot of motions that you do naturally and intuitively when you have no pressure and you're just sketching for fun. Whereas all that beautiful movement can go wrong when you're over rendering and you're just moving so tightly that it becomes a problem. This is, by the way, one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to tutorials on certain styles, like those anime tutorials you see online. They tend to be so uptight with their methods, and even though the artist may be in good faith, they might be saying things that it's intuitive to them. When you're breaking down all these steps for someone who's new, they may overthink every side of the process, every step of the process rather. And when you're overthinking, that will slow you down and that will create worse artwork than if you were just loose and fast with things. As I stated before, there's a reason why a lot of this fan art is done in 2 hours, 3 hours at most. Now, I'm not calculating all the research time and just testing out sketches, but in terms of the actual rendering, when I already imagine everything in my head, all I have to do is execute. And I don't want to stay on the course for too long. Because I'm familiar with my own style, I know exactly every single step that I'll be creating throughout the process, so I don't really want to waste time and just zoom in 1000% just to get the perfect little shading on everything. You'll find that a lot of times, especially if you look at this time-lapse style, I'll be zooming out actually and making sure that my paint brush strokes are going to be pretty large and pretty bold, which is of course reminiscent of the looseness of sketching. Now, not every style is going to retain this motion like mine will. You're probably going to be dealing with more rendered styles, but either way, you want to be familiar and understand the aesthetics you're pushing, so you're not overthinking the process. If you find yourself midway of a painting and you're just stalling and you're just overthinking things, then perhaps you need to step back a bit and practice where it's causing you issues. Perhaps you're being stuck on a certain hand motion. Perhaps there's certain colors that you're not familiar with. Either way, you don't want to learn how to punch when you're in the boxing ring. So it's better to just move back a bit and go back to the gym and learn how those motions work so that you don't have to really overthink about it in the actual process of the final piece. If you understand this, your work is actually going to accelerate and improve massively. This is one of those things that really hold artists back because they really just want to, and it's in good faith, of course. Every artist wants to have the best work possible. But ironically, when you're trying too hard, it ends up creating worse artwork. Sometimes you just have to figure out how you can retain that energy and that looseness that you have when you're just sketching very quickly, and you want to bring that energy into your painted work. And perhaps in doing so, you'll find your signature style while doing so. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is the final piece of Black Cat from Marvel Rivals. As usual, like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow my socials in the description below. Every little bit helps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.